there's a lot of ways to listen. Yeah. The message isn't in the words. The words carry the message, yes? So going over the words, you're not going to mine the message out of it. The message is carried by the words. And because we have a certain configuration as action figures, there's a male slot that we need language in a lot of sense. Yeah? So we're using the language as what gets into the door, but it's not the writing on the envelope. It's when you open up the envelope and there's nothing there. That's the message. Yes? The message is that, nothing. So if you notice what we were talking about earlier, the selfing will hear this message and then go home and think about it. And in the process of thinking about it, obviously, like we said earlier, the observation distorts the observed, so the hearer actually distorts what's heard. Yes? The feeler distorts what's felt. The sense of doer distorts the doing. It's inevitable. That's how it goes. So there's going to be thoughts about things, but it would be nice to just have a precautionary sense that how it defines it and sort of cuts it up and says what it is, you're not beholden to that. Yeah? If there can just be that sense of openness, which you are, it's not an effort. That skin that the thought system wants to put on it, yeah, it won't hold, because if you hold the space, so to speak. To me, that's what I mean by entertaining. You hear the message, and in the hearing of the message, where the mental state would put a period, you don't follow the period. So some very simple cryptic statement like what's looking is what you're looking for. If you don't allow the mental state to be the period to that, it's almost like a never-ending stream. Yeah, because it triggers mind. Yeah, big M mind. So what's looking is what you're looking for is has volumes and volumes of sense felt knowledge that isn't acquired or delivered by anything. It's you. It's what you are by entertaining. And the mind right now is entertaining that this is real. It's entertaining that the thoughts are being had. It's entertaining everything. All of the dreaming wouldn't seem like the dreaming unless mind was entertaining it. So that same quality does not have to be started or trained or anything. Just bring something other than what usually happens in front of it. And so when the mind gets nothing, big M mind gets nothing, just like it can take all the somethings and they add up to freaking nothing, when it finds nothing, it can produce everything out of that. So you have a statement, whatever is triggered, whatever word triggers something, what triggers your own sense feltness, entertain those words, because then the message carries through. Yeah? It doesn't stop with the words. It starts with the words, really. It triggers mind, and mind is it. The seeing is it. It's not the view. The view is just a way, in a sense, to produce a room, in a sense, or a space, so that the light can at least shine unimpeded farther than 2 feet. So maybe you can get a sense of its fucking immensity if it got a little bit of ability to express. So understanding helps that, yeah? But the understanding or the view is not vision, it's not seeing. The seeing is an inherent condition that's not produced by anything. It's not done. You don't do anything to trigger it. It's untriggered because its nature is awareness. Awareness is not doing awareness, and it's not waiting to become aware. It's aware. That's its nature, yes? It's awareness. So the message isn't the words. So more words don't mean more message. Some of the greatest messages have been the most cryptic, like 5-word sentences to me. They explain more than volumes and volumes of stuff. The statement by this, supposedly the third Zen patriarch, that you cannot use activity to produce stillness, that would be activity, is unbelievably wealthy. You cannot use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. So first you hear, you cannot use activity to produce stillness, and you feel like, well, what's stopping me from producing stillness? Because it would be activity, that's what. It's the activity before that you believe can produce stillness is what negates the stillness. You, as the observer, is what's negating the message. If the selfing claims this message and it doesn't get through enemy lines, so to speak, and the message gets claimed, it's neutered. It's like a dead birth, yeah? It's not alive. Now you know it. It's sort of like having a breakfast nook, and you have all the boxes of cereal in the world, which would mean you have an incredible array of possibilities for breakfast, but none of the boxes have any fucking food in them. It looks like you know, it looks like you got it covered, but when you open, and the box could be huge, but there's nothing in it. That's it. The message is nothing. It's actually about nothing or no thing. Yeah. And the point is, when the no thing arises as a seeming thing, the seeming thingness negates or neuters the message it sent itself. So what's the point? The point is to question this little imaginary phantom. If it's not so, then it's no thing expressing to no thing. That makes freaking sense to no thing. The no thing expressing to no thing and getting caught by the thing, it turns into gibbia, gobbledygook, whatever. Then you think you've got to read more books and you've got to do this and do that. A book is a reminder. It's not going to lead you anywhere. It reminds you there's no need to go anywhere. A failed system teaches you one thing. It's a failed system. That's its greatest value. Practices have a great value when you're exhausted by them. So then maybe you've convinced yourself it's okay to put something down that was okay to put down right from the get-go. But we're in this long, drawn-out affair to convince ourselves, hey, you're inherently okay, no matter what you think or what you fucking feel. The surface does not imply influence on the depth. The surface is not the representative of the ocean. The surface is being moved by elements and volatile conditioning. The bottom isn't. It's true, volatility, but don't imply that implies the depth. It doesn't. It doesn't. The conditions of thing do not imply the condition of no thing. Why not let no thing's condition reign supreme? Put the horse, or allow it to be just as it is, the horse before the cart. What comes before has influence on what comes after. What comes after needs not to have any influence on what comes before. I'm telling you, people have seen me for years, and they come and they go, is there anything new, Paul? No. Because there's no point. It's always going to be an introductory offer, because there's no reason to leave here until this is clear. Because if it isn't clear, you're going to be at the effect of the heist. You're going to be taking yourself to be the thief. You're going to be taking yourself to the policeman who will find the thief. And when you find the thief, you'll realize it's none other than the policeman. It goes on and on, just like that. So here, I'll read it again from yesterday because I have a lot of time here. Simple as that. So this is a beautiful description of what we're not, said in a different way. So some people could hear the exact same thing and they'd say no to it if it was thought coming from Steve, but if they thought it was from Jesus, it would be like the greatest fucking thing ever. Do you ever have that happen with your boyfriend or girlfriend? All your advice you ever give her, she never listens to. But if you tell it to a friend of hers, and then the friend delivers, she says, oh, my friend Sue gave me this incredibly good idea. Yeah, that's the idea I gave Sue.
The prophet is unknown in his own country.
So here, yet we have, in this first statement, implies a description of what we're not. Because that's the only thing that can be clearly described here is what you're not. Because there is some quality here, which is what you are, that you can see what you're not from. You're not going to get a clear description of what you're not from what you're not. But you can get an incredibly clear description of what you're not from what you are. Yet we have heard a very similar description earlier, but it was not of you. It's like this thing. Have you ever heard of the Enneagram? So the Enneagram is like a Sufism type of way of categorizing, like astrology or stuff like that, all the different characters that make up all the different human expressions. Yeah? It's just like astrology. When you read that you're an Aquarian and it sounds just like you, it obviously should inform somehow that you cannot possibly be that. If there's a lot of Fords that drive just like you, smell like you, you know, fucking turn like you, it can't be you. Yeah? If a lot of people have the same thoughts you're having, they can't be your thoughts. If a lot of people are having the same feelings you're having, they can't be your feelings. There's no proprietary copyright because a lot of people are having them. So the Enneagram describes these like 9, I think, different personality types, and then they add, for fun, 2 subdivisions, usually about sex or something else. So you go to an Enneagram with very enlightened people, seminar. So 3 days or a week, they're talking about everyone. And maybe the teacher will, if you're lucky, will describe you, oh, you're a 4. So they name them, a 4 or a 7 or a 9. So here you are, and they go, you're a 4. And then go, you're a 6, but your subdivision sex could match with a 4. So at the break, everyone comes out, oh, I'm a 4. Oh, you're a 7. Let's go out for coffee. No, you find out that you're a 4 to realize you're not a 4. The description is not of you. That's what can be described. That's what all of these methodologies can be very clear about. What you're not. So yet we have heard a very similar description earlier, but it was not of you. But still this strange idea. The reason I'm reading this again, because I forgot the other places where I have other things I'd like to say. Because this isn't the Course in Miracles I have a home, which I have blue things. I can't find the other pages, so we're going to do this
What's
again.
the page number? Maybe I can find it.
This is page 468, the third paragraph. So it goes, yet we have heard a very similar description earlier, but it was not of you. All the descriptions of everything that we're about are not of us. What you are of cannot be described. You have to find out what you are. You have to be what you are. That's the only possibility. You can't know what you are. You can't experience what you are. But you can be what you are. You can find out about what you are. But you can learn about what you're not. With the point of what? Pointing out to you, you're not that. It's like the guy with the tumor I did. It's the same thing. I won't go there again. Because somebody got in touch with me with the Tumor Society of America. They don't want me to talk about tumors anymore. So I'm going to respect their request.
If you can describe it, that's not it.
Yes, so yet we have heard a very similar description earlier, but it was not of you. But still the strange idea, What's the strange idea? That you're a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. You're a thing. That's a strange idea if you're no thing. Yeah? But still, the strange idea, which it does accurately describe, you think is you. That's the only way it can seem to be you, is you think it's you. The thinking is what promotes what you're not. Yes? But reason would tell you, or if you want to use the word wisdom, would tell you that the world you see through eyes that are not yours must make no sense to you. So this is taking in information, and it's sending the information back to somewhere, but is it sending it back to you? Does it make sense that yesterday and tomorrow are more important than today? Does it make sense that I'd rather live for 8 o'clock tonight when I can watch that movie and basically just make it through right now until I can get to a better moment I want to be in more than this one? Does that actually really make sense? Reason would tell you that the world you see through eyes that are not yours must make no sense to you. These eyes are not yours. These are programmed. These are programmed to see things. They are not programmed to see nothing. They are programmed to see things. To whom would seeing such as this send back its messages? It's not sending it back to what you are, it's sending it back to who you think you are. To do what? To reinforce that who you think you are is what you are. That's its job. All these activities are, one of their basic jobs is to reinforce the idea of you being a thing. That's it. So if you're following them, if you're taking them to be true, then something will be taken to be true, that you're a thing. To whom would seeing such as this send back its messages? Surely not you, whose sight is wholly independent of the eyes that look upon the world. What is he saying? What is whatever it is saying there? Honestly, seeing is not of eyes. Seeing or awareness is what we are. For whom would seeing such as this send back its messages? Surely not you, whose sight is wholly independent of the eyes that look upon the world. So the eyes here that are looking upon this world as separate and things, yeah? What we are, our seeing is wholly independent of that. Wholly independent of it. Not reliant on it, not interrelated to it, wholly independent of it. If this is not your vision, what can it show to you? To me, humbly, it can show to me it's not my vision. That's the message. The message a failed system can give us all is that it's failed. So, you know what I mean? The message that you're not a non-existent thing, it can inform you that you're not a non-existent thing. That's its job. Yeah? The brain cannot interpret what your vision sees. This you would understand. So the brain is not going to get it. The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. So the brain that's collating all this information takes all that information and it interprets it to the body. So that which is our system of knowing and understanding, its system is referenced as a body. It's called self-centeredness. Yeah. So the whole system is sending its information to reinforce the phantom, which is the center of the system, this idea of being a thing, yet in fact it's a non-existent thing. So it's like, somebody died and then you mummify him, and let's say you put it into the center of the system, so now you have this non-existent thing, and the whole system is about that non-existent thing, and by the attention being constantly on the system about the non-existent thing, it seems like it exists. You never can really, did you really see him there? Oh, he was here. He did that. He thought, but did you really see him think that? Did you really see him do it? Did you really see him? Oh, no, we haven't really seen him. Oh, I just assumed it was him. This is what it's like. Yeah? If you got to the center, there's nothing there. It's just assuming, insinuating, implying. Oh, I'm sure I did it. Everyone else is sure I did it. I'm sure I did it. I'm sure I thought that. Have you ever asked, who am I? Have you ever knocked on the seeming house that you are in? If you've knocked on it 1,000 times and no one's shown up, no one's home. That's the message. When no one shows up, when you knock on it, who am I? No one's home. And it's not like they've left on vacation. No one's home. Why is it that we override the obviousness of the message? Because we're relying on a system that's based on self. So the brain interprets to the body. You may not like the course or not, but this is a very clear point. Agree or not with it. The brain interprets to the body. It's not interpreting to the spirit. It's not interpreting to allness and everywhereness. It isn't. It's interpreting to the body. In other words, it's interpreting everything here in relation to the body. But what it says you cannot understand, yet you have listened to it. Why? Because you think it's about you. Seriously, that's it. If you had, let's say, 3 hours of Stanley's talks in your head, let's say from 2 to 5, at 2:01 you would have gotten suspicious. 2:02 you'd fucking have turned it off probably, and then you'd have 2.5 hours of freedom. But fact is, we have the same format, but it's called us, and we're just fucking avid listeners to it. 40, 50 years. Listen to the same old, same old. I hope I will be okay. I hope nothing happens to me today. I hope I meet someone who will save me. Someone will add on to me. I'm like a piece of a crossword, like a jigsaw puzzle. I haven't found the piece that will bring me into fruition. Yet you have listened to it. What? Yes. And long and hard. You tried to understand its messages. I'll be happy when I go there, when I get that. But what's obviously pointed out? I'm not there and I don't have that. You'll be happy when or if this, but I don't have I never have the when or if. And then when I arrive there, a new when or if is downloaded. Well, now you're here. This is just the beginning of the building of this happy joy. Now the next brick is meeting the partner that you need. And then you meet her. She's 5'11", and oh, I must have missed it by an inch. I need a 5'10" blonde. And it's on and on and on. The formula sucks. You have not realized it is impossible to understand what fails entirely to reach you. You're not going to come to reason with it. You have received no messages at all you understand, for you have listened to what can never communicate at all. You've been listening to a GPS, really, that its maps are from like 1843. You punch in Happy, Joyous, and Free, you end up in jail. You fucking wait a minute, you get back in, subscribe to the same GPS. All right, let's try Happy, Joyous, and Free again. Now you have a 2-month sentence. Let's try Happy, Joyous, and Free again. You ends up in a divorce. Let's try and yet you don't stop subscribing because you don't think there's any other possibility. How can you leave that which you take yourself to be? It neuters all possibility of escape if all your escapes are planned with it instead of from it. You don't see it? For you have listened to what can never communicate at all. Think then what happens. Denying what you are, which is the act of selfing. The act of selfing is denying what you are by affirming what you're not. This is the way it works, yeah? Denying what you are and firm in faith. Without the faith, it wouldn't even get off the ground. And firm in faith that you are something else. You truly believe that you're a body. When that faith is removed, you wear the fucking bodysuit looser, you know? Denying what you are and firm in faith that you are something else. This something else that you have made to be yourself becomes your sight. So now you see the world from that view of being the center of it as a body. And all we do is try to get correct glasses, the correct pair of glasses we're wearing, because we haven't touched around and seen there are a pair of glasses. We think it's our eyes. So we never entertain we can take those first glasses off because we're calling them us. We're trying to find another pair of glasses, Buddhism or something else, Course in Miracles, to correct the distortion of the first glasses. And then get another pair to fine-tune the second clarification. And then you're wearing like 12 pairs of glasses. And you're going to 12 optometrists. You're going to this teacher, that teacher, blah, blah, blah. So you're getting all different prescriptions for new pairs of glasses. But you never just reached up and saw if these were your eyes. If these were a pair of glasses, couldn't you have the possibility of taking them off? And how long would that take to dawn on you? You would feel it and you could take them off right then and there. But if you call them your eyes, all you can do is try to find a way to correct how you're seeing. But if how you're seeing is a pair of glasses, you could take them off. It must be self, so here it goes. Something else that you have made to be yourself becomes your sight. Yet it must be the something else that sees and as not you. Explains its sight to you. Isn't that what the thought system's doing all day? It's telling you that person's out to get you. That lady really fucked with you. They're gonna arrest you. Yes, they don't like you because you're heavy. Some another. They're constantly telling you how you are, how you were, how you're gonna be, how they are, how they were, how they're gonna be, how things are gonna work out. You wake up at 8 in the morning, it prophesies you're gonna have a bad day. You haven't even gotten up yet. It tells you this or that, and that, and this, and this. You're living in a total interpretation. Literally. Do you have that? I don't have much anymore, but when you used to wake up, it would tell you how the day was going to be. You haven't done fucking anything yet. You're laying there. Oh, this is going to be a bad day. Oh, you wise one. Thank you. How are you going to feel if you believe it's going to be a bad day? Pretty defensive, I'd imagine. Sort of paranoid. Yeah? Meek. You don't want to ruffle any feathers. You could be fired any second. It's a very empowering position, isn't it? Yet if your eyes are closed, so this is beautiful actually, your vision would, your vision would of course render this quite unnecessary. All this fucking yapping, all this telling us this is the way to go and not the way to go, all of that extraneous fucking multifaceted mental minutia would chill out and you'd have space. You'd sense space. Not all that's filling it up. The space, you'd feel it. Yet if your eyes are closed and you have called upon this thing to lead you, asking it to explain to you the world it sees, you have no reason not to listen. You call it you. Why wouldn't you listen to you? It has carte blanche every area of your life, because if you meet it when it's coming into your relationships, you call it me. It never gets questioned at any of the doors. It walks in and out of your fucking life, doing what it wants, and it leaves you to speak, clean up the mess, so to speak. Yet if your eyes are closed and you have called upon this thing to lead you, asking it to explain to you the world it sees, you have no reason not to listen, nor does it to suspect that what it tells you is not true. Wisdom would tell you it cannot be true because you do not understand it. This is just another way of saying the same thing, isn't it? Isn't it describing a modality? A functioning? It's not describing a thing. It's describing a functioning that implies a thing. That is totally, it has to have that thing in place to keep its relevance cooking, yeah? Without the center itself, the system would collapse. It's another way of looking here. Has it served you? Has it worked? Or has it put your desires or your wants or your own attributes into a path of time to find them? It's like that, like a crazy adult, a sadistic adult who's playing with kids, and they play that game where they hide something in the bushes, and then they're going, all right, you're getting warmer, and then, oh, you're cold, but there's nothing there. It's all a fucking wild goose chase. You are what you're looking for. What's looking right now, just whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling about yourself, what's looking. It doesn't say what's looking and then 4 pages of requirements for it to become the you that you're looking for, or the what that you're looking for. What's looking is what you're looking for right now. It's demonstrating itself right now. In fact, what you are is the most active ingredient here. Without it, nothing else would even appear. Yet it's probably one of the most underappreciated. It's like you being on life support, not appreciating the oxygen tank that's allowing you to be on life support. It's like a fish not appreciating the water, which gives it its whole life. And if we want to have interest in it, the selfie will claim that interest and turn it into self-interest. That's why it's good to see the heist. Not after it, but before it. Because before it is where the freedom is. Yeah? Before it, it's only an activity. After it, it's a fact. Before it, it's an activity. After it, it's a fact. You're a non-existent thing that's existing. And you're existing for you as a non-existent thing. Satisfactions come, they're so hard to stabilize, aren't they? That one thing you bought and you hope it never ends as the one thing. There's another thing always follows that has to be bought. I've had more than 7 fairy princesses in my life. Not one of them saved me, nor did I save anyone. I did tons of coke. I never hit a point where I said, thank you, the Lord of cocaine. I'm satiated, I'm happy. I'm going to give all my coke away to other people, and I hope they find out the same result. Total satiation, total joy, never think or want coke again. Never happens with any addiction, ever. Because all the addictions are really hiding the one addiction, which is the mental state's addiction to being a self. It's not being a self, making a self. That's the addiction of all addictions. That addiction spawns a huge need to get relief, and that's drug use and every fucking thing else. You're trying to get out of self, basically. Every addiction really is trying to get out of self. It can't work because you're not in self. If it was true, you could probably escape it, but it's not true. So how can you escape an imaginary condition? Only by seeing it's imaginary, and that's not an escape. And humbly, I don't care if you think you can produce it, go fucking try. And I hope you do. I'd love it. I'd love you to be the one anomaly in all this, that you actually produced your own condition, inherent condition. I'd love to see it. I'd humbly give up, I'd have my final video, and I'd acquiesce, and I'd say, I surrender. Yes, you can do yourself into being. I was wrong. I did. I was wrong. Being is not inherently in and of its own nature. It can be produced by something, an imaginary thing. An imaginary thing can produce everything. I just don't see it to be so. And someone, basically warned me, I entertained it, and it saved me a lot of time and trouble because now I'm content. That's the starting point. I'm not starting out of discontent every day. I start from contentment. Then the pursuit of happiness can be a leisurely walk because I know it's not going to bring me anything else that's not here already. To tell you the truth. Seriously. I have never been delivered something that's not here already, ever. You come here, that's what you're gonna get. Nothing. No intensives, nothing else. No subscription. There's not a higher form of this message. It's just not a lower form of it. It's a simple invitation. I hope you entertain it. Not as the thing you think you are, but as the mind that you are. Because I'm telling you, like we said yesterday and the day before, this message is not being delivered to you. This message is to mind about you. It is not to you about mind. Because it's no point to talk to you about mind. The you will neuter the message of mind. But if you give the message of mind to mind, it may entertain you're not that. That's the beauty. And all it needs is one. It only takes one sperm to impregnate an egg. And knowing the difficulty, millions of them are sent out. Well, this is even more difficult than that. Because the mental state is so fast, it has like that, 1,000-armed Indra? It has mitts on each hand, and it can catch every message, But one of them may get through. And all it needs is one, and it hits that fucking pregnant egg of the mind, and the mind conceives this possibility. I'm not that. And the next thing it's like a twin. One comes out first, I'm not that. The second twin is I can be free from it. Once you entertain that possibility, let's see what happens. Maybe you'll find out you're inherently free instead of in the pursuit of it. Maybe all the seeming effects of smallness and limitation that you used to use to verify that you're something that fragile and fucking demented and diminished won't create that anymore. Won't make that story stick anymore. You'll just see, hey, this is the action figure, and I'm not that. Yeah. It's great to do satsang and drink caffeine. It can almost produce a spiritual experience. Ezra's pound produces the best spiritual experience. Starbucks is sort of a minor spiritual experience, but Ezra is. I remember when I got sober, I had no idea. I'd been out so long fucking around. I had no idea what it was even to be here. And I remember I would start feeling weird, and I thought it was like a metaphysical, mystical event. And all I needed was a bologna sandwich. My blood sugar went low. I was thinking I was having the second coming. And all I needed was a bologna sandwich. As soon as I ate some food, it just got stabilized. I mean, we don't have any touchstone to really tell the truth about quote-unquote spirituality. It's not phenomena or experience, it's your inherent condition. You are of spirit, you're of no thingness. Yeah. Literally it is, it's true. It's funny how spirit could have a spiritual experience. I would think any experience that spirit had would be a spiritual experience. Going to 7-Eleven. Because it would imbue the experience with its nature, which is spirit. Wouldn't it? I mean, that would be what was experiencing the event, would be spirit. See, like, well, no, hold on a second. Let's say you're in this world. We have time, yeah? Let's say you're in this world, and this world only has one sense. The only way you can know anything is through feeling, yeah? So here it is. So the one sense, and in this world there's scriptures, and the scriptures are about the sense of freedom feels like the feeling of 1,000 rose petals at once. And so you got this image of what it would be like to be free. But the thing in this world of sense, there's a glove on. So your hand is covered by a glove. And let's say that glove is coarse, yeah? So whatever you touch is translated through the glove. So if you touch a very, very soft thing, it's going to feel coarse because the glove is the overriding influence of the translation. This is like selfing, if I have to explain the little example. Yeah, so all right. So then let's say you read the scriptures and you seem to get to heaven, and when you touch those red petals, they don't match what you thought the experience would be like. They feel rough, yeah, because there's a glove on. Now the glove has been taken to be the hand. So obviously, you never entertain the possibility it can be taken off. So you're living life through the glove. That's like the interpretation that we're in. Yeah? Now, if the glove was removed and you touched a rose petal, you would have a direct hit of what that scripture was pointing at. You would feel the incredible softness of the petal. Yeah? You wouldn't have to be described page after page. You'd have a sense of it. It would take no time. You'd touch it and you'd realize, oh, so that's what softness is. But it's not going to be translated clearly through the glove. If you entertain, hey, feel it. See if it, take it out. And then see how things make sense. Yeah? You'll see that your value system lies in the moment, not in yesterday, tomorrow. You see that you're never putting off what you inherently are in time. You never put what you are as a destination. You're never in the hope that you're going to finally arrive at what you are. You're at what you are. All of that fucking smoke and mirrors is blown away. Without effort, you just see anew. Your value system immediately shifts. Instead of saving your face, you save your ass. And it doesn't unshift. The aperture, the camera tripod can be moved, but that which is looking through it doesn't move. And more that will be revealed. More and more, what you believe infers or implies you'll see it doesn't. So when the mental state says, I did something and I moved away from the truth, you'll see that's not so. And then also, conversely, when it says, I've done all this shit and I'm moving towards the truth, you'll realize that's not so. You've never moved at all. You cannot believe what a relaxation that can produce in the action figure. Better than 50 Thai massages. It's not the center of the universe. Everything is not dependent on it anymore. It becomes a very minor player in the big thing, in the big theme of everything. It's freedom for it, yeah? And it allows you, when you realize you're not an individual, to be more of an individual than ever. It's weird, eh? But it's so. So yes.
Oh, then why are we here, and why are you here at this very moment?
I've always asked myself that. You should ask yourself that. I don't know why. Why does it really work for me? But you can ponder it.
What works for you, Paul? If why doesn't work, what works?
Well, more it's like, why not? I'm going to go somewhere on a Saturday or a Sunday. Usually, I'm going to go somewhere. I could go to bed, but I'm going somewhere. This is where I go. This is the seed assignment. Why do you come?
To expand my horizon for new experiences.
And have you?
I would say so.
There you go. Well, then you're a happy customer.
Well, I didn't say that.
Why not?
What is the source?
It's funny, I understand when people ask me questions of why, but it's very foreign to me now. Because to me, I see this as a complete invitation. You know, so like, hey, go to the party, it's at 9 o'clock. And then usually if I would deliver an invitation like that, if the guy would go, why? I go, well, why not go to the fucking party? Well, don't go, but here's the invitation. I could care less if you go or not, but I'm the deliverer of the invitation. Hey, there's a party at 9. Well, stop right there. Why is it at 9? I don't know why it's fucking at 9. I'm just the mailman. Could it be at 8? Can you get there? Oh, sure, I guess so. You probably could get there early. What's the dress code? Well, I don't know. You don't know. Just here. Yeah. And then repeating it. That's my job in a sense. I'm basically a mailman of one letter.
Which is reproducible at no cost.
It's the same one. And then we don't even use, there's not even glue on it. It's just we don't go home and go, were we successful at, no, I was successful. All of you have been served the spiritual subpoena. I don't care where you go to. My job is complete. It's first of all, it's out of my jurisdiction as soon as I say it, because you're going to make it what it is for you. If you told me what I said, I mean, totally disagree with your report on what I said. I could probably, in most cases I would. This is just out of your jurisdiction. This is just an event. I don't know why. I asked myself when I first came here in January, I was asking myself, why did I fucking come to Toronto on the coldest day of the year that year? But now it's hospitable and everything. Why doesn't it come up? I just show up.
In summertime. In summertime.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions?
It does resolve the fact that I haven't been able to answer any why questions lately. Someone says, why did you do this? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you're the answer anyway.
Yeah.
You know, really, inevitably, you're the answer to the questions. Usually, a lot of times, like when I had, in the beginning of listening to these things, then I hit a point where I had never asked another question again. It just seemed absurd. And I just listened and let it go in. And I really like this aspect called faith mind. I have faith in that which is receiving, yeah, and transmitting. There's just, as an action figure, it's probably the highest attitude it can have, which is as faith in what's happening. I don't ask questions, I just show up. I feel it affirms itself by the sensation in the space, and it just do what it's done. And this is just a seed assignment, this job, seemingly. We're living in musical chairs, yeah? The music may start, I'll be moving around. Just because you stop in front of the same chair for a few turns doesn't mean it's your chair. It's just a seed assignment. And actually, truly, I'm meant to become obsolete. The only thing that keeps us going is new people come in, really, to the talks. Because basically, it's a message. It's not a class. It's not a college. Yeah, it's a message. Yeah.
Like the happening, does it have like a destination it's going to, or it's just?
No. The thing is, we're expressing or seemingly looking for destinations from the destination. Yes, we are at where we'd like to go, but we have a lot of conceptual ideas what it would look like, what it's going to be, but basically we are what we're looking for.
So, like, what we are seeking, does it have a time and like, to that to happen, or?
No.
No? It just happens? Like,
Well, it's happening all the time. You're seeing now.
so we're just caught with our thoughts. And we
Well,
block
the thoughts are caught with the thoughts, but they're implying it's you. And so the mind buys it in time. And so now you believe you're the one that's caught in the thoughts. But what you are has never been caught by thoughts. It's never been driven crazy. It's driving its own system crazy. Yeah? We just align with that because we take it to be us. We believe it implies us. We believe everything that happens implies us. And it's not true in my view. I don't see it that way. Yeah, and what happened was, this is trip. If you want to call it a solution, when the solution gains traction, it informs you about the problem, seemingly, right? So you know the problem by its absence. And then you see why you seem to have been displaced, why yesterday and tomorrow seem more important than now, why wonder and awe were very infrequent. You had to jump off bridges with a bungee cord or take a bigger wave than your body could actually ride. And then you see it's all very clearly explained, yeah, from the solution. Yeah. So you'll see the influence, seeming influence of the problem from the solution, yeah? And it's an amazing, you'll see how interpretative most people's lives are. At least let's just keep it with you. You notice that in this life, it was based on a total interpretation. Maybe the basic bottom platforms were there's something lacking in you inherently, you're unlovable, you're never going to be enough, those type of things, yes? So there's some themes set, and everything that happens and gets interpreted bounces off of these old ideas and these beliefs. So let's say hundreds of people love you, but you can't recognize anyone loving you because the mental state wants to be right about its being unlovable. And it's a fucking huge mental game. Yeah? Huge. You can't receive what's on offer because you think you don't deserve it. Something like tons of shit. And it's all made up. It's all freaking made up. And you have to comply with it. That's the beautiful. You can opt out of the system. You do not have to have the same GPS. There are tons of modalities available that can be plugged in and you can see anew. Which don't have self as a center. There are tons of downloads you can have that have nothing to do with time or self. Yeah? You are a transmitter and receiver. The radio is not beholden to the song it's playing. It can pick up other stations. You are not the singer of the song that's playing out of you. You are not the writer of the song. You're not the copywriter of the song. You're the transmission of a song. That song, it can transmit a lot of different songs.
So
Yeah.
Toxo is a song?
Hmm?
Toxo is a song? Your friend Toxo.
Toxo.
Is that a song?
Toxo's got a song.
Is it a song?
It's a song, definitely. The mental state's singing that song for sure. But here it seems to be real, yes? Because you think you're a real body. So Toxo to me is an incredible demonstration of how a foreignness could take over what thought it was a singularity, yes? Take over a rat or a mouse. Why wouldn't it be able to take over a human, in a sense? Alcoholism is like a parasite. Takes over people, possesses them, and they do shit that they would never have done if they were sober. Watch it. You'll see how unsubstantial this idea of being an island is, because you're taken over all day. Taken over by emotions, yes? You're taken over by grief. You're taken over by tons of visitors.
The never-ending story.
It's fine to have a story. If you're the author of it, then you feel like you should change it. It should be better and stuff like that. Yeah? Or why comes up when you're the author. Yes?
My observation being that mind is so insidious that you were talking about these states of feeling unworthy. Sometimes it becomes a mental imbalance and even a mental illness. It gets so deeply ingrained. And I'm wondering how, when a person is caught up in that state, how do you switch the radio station? How do you tune in other messages when, something is like, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Ingrained sort of belief system.
You may have to get, for me, if there's a belief in that being real and stuff like that, I would work through the body, through energy work and stuff. I wouldn't go through therapy. That's my feeling. Yeah, so if you take it to be real, that's the point. If you're taking that you're having a real problem, let's say, and it seems as real can be, then you have to dream yourself out of the dream through the dream. So for me, I always like energetic work much more than any kind of therapy, like talking therapy. Because the body is a real expression of the mind, the mental state, quite a lot. And so you can get, it's a much clearer communication through the body than to go into the swamp of the mental state, in my view.
It's a different kind of addiction, I think, too, isn't it? Like being addicted to a certain thought process, being addicted to this thought process that's all you've ever known, and that's like, you know, do you think it's like an addiction or no?
I do, but see,
Uncontrollable thoughts, like doesn't everybody experience at some point, like just, you know, being able to, just like thinking all this negative shit and never being able to get out of it and feeling like, you know, nearly suicidal or whatever. It's what drives you to drink or drives you to do drugs or drives you to do whatever.
Yeah.
Is that constant battle of the mind. I just wonder.
well, the thing here is also a subjective experience.
Yes.
So one health person isn't another. So I've never had depression, so I can't really know what depression's like.
Ever?
No.
You've been a drug addict and an alcoholic?
That wasn't depression, that was induced by drugs. After you're up 10 days on coke, you're gonna have something, but it's not, it was like a made up, you know, one. But I know I never have like months of being bummed out, so I have no idea what it's like. Yeah, yeah. But then again, that's the context. Like the Course would talk about level confusions, right? Mind is manifesting on a lot of levels. So there's one level, let's say the consequential level. So someone comes and calls me up and I'm in recovery and they're talking about, they're in like a fucking airtight case, they're fucked, basically. So let's say the house is on fire, yeah, and they're burning up. I don't talk to them about there is no house and there's no fire. I point to them where the nearest source of water is, because that's the appropriate response. Because the mind's totally believing that it's a body and it's fucked and this and that. So there's no point, because it's going to use this message to bludgeon itself on the consequential level. Yes? But what happens when the fire goes out and there's a nice source of water and some relaxation comes over? Maybe you can sit down and say, hey bro, you know, isn't it funny that you've been at every fire you've ever been in? And, you know, try to sort of see your role in things, so that maybe, because the real relief comes from seeing your role in things. Yeah. So, but it's, you know, in one point that wouldn't be helpful, and another point it's very helpful. So it's just a matter of that. But that's like you're dealing with a lot of levels. So this invitation is not about the consequential level. We're attempting to talk about the blueprint room, yeah? The mind coming up with the devising of the dreamlike event, and just to try to see our role in it, because maybe the real relief from something is realizing you've never been in it. To me, it's the only real relief that can sustain itself, because if you're in something and then you think you got out of it, it's apt that you'll be going back in it, because it's a dualistic bent here. So to me, the solution is prior to it. But then in the dream, there's lots of levels of solution. Yeah? There's lots of levels of solution. Somebody who is very thick, like I used to be in massage, and I worked with people with what they call clinical depression, where the person used to burn himself with cigarettes on both sides of his thing to feel like it was alive here. Now, when I worked on him, he was like fucking frozen lead, energetically, you know? He needs help here. You know, like something to break the ice as this event, yeah? Now, on another level, is that happening? No, it isn't. His depression is not truly happening. It's a dreaming aspect, yes? But see, on this level, your first response is, hey, try to be of help. On this level, there's a solution to it prior to the depression. Yeah? This meeting is about the blueprint room. Yeah? This other stuff, that's why if somebody's really thick, send them to an energetic healer or something like that, yeah? Some shift can occur that won't seemingly occur with this message because they're too locked in to this level. It's not them, but it's mind. Mind gets captured in its own dream, so to speak, yes? So you need the dream to dream yourself out of the dream. So you get massage, or you take a break, you leave that stressful job or something like that. There's appropriate responses. But the absoluteness is none of this ever really fucking happened. So on a day like today, when we're not having tons of stress, there's no stress in this room, based from the room, let's talk about possibilities we can talk about now, which is, hey, let's go see that we can never see what's behind the camera, but by seeing what's in front of the camera, the seeing of that will intimate what's behind the camera, which is us that seems to be appearing in front of the camera. Yeah? So the problems that are happening in front of the camera need to be dealt with sometimes solutions that happen in front of the camera. But the ultimate solution is prior to any problem. Yes? They're not in conflict. They're in inclusion. If someone comes and just says, condemns the world, condemns all this, that doesn't work. That's another either or view. Everything's happening, and it demands its attention when it demands it, and then, in effect, nothing ever happened. Now, people would think, hey, that doesn't make sense. It makes total sense if you see it from another light. If you see it from behind the camera, it makes total fucking sense.
Just be the watcher.
Hmm?
Just be the watcher, don't get involved.
Not even being a watcher, that would be another thing. You're just seeing. You don't have to just be the seeing. That's all you are, is the seeing. If you could be something else, then it would have to be just be the seeing. But you can't be anything else.
It's the verb and the noun. Again, you refer to.
Yes.
You want to be the seeing, but not the watcher. Because there is no watcher, but there is seeing.
See, the seeing, in a subtle way, the watcher can imply there's a someone that's seeing, yeah? That's all. You'd like to take any of those implications away so that you're with the root base of what's happening, which is verbing. There's just seeing. Yeah? There's no one that's the seer. There's no one that's the watcher. There's no one that's the witness. There's just seeing. It makes it a lot easier because you add one ingredient, you'll have to remove that ingredient. If you don't add anything, there's no need to subtract anything. Yes? Beautiful. Beautiful, economically beautiful. The solution disappears as soon as you see the problem because the problem is an activity that you're involved in. There goes it, and there's no need for a solution now. That's the most perfect solution. Because if it's left to us to have a solution, we're going to fuck it up, obviously. Look at how many people have found a solution, it turns into the problem. Now they're a monk and they want to have fornication, but they made a vow and I can't buy that car. I took a vow of poverty and no, fuck it, no. Look at what enlightenment does. The idea of enlightenment drives a lot of fucking people crazy. They would have been better off they never heard it. Seriously, they would have been. You go to meetings like this, and enlightenment means, in one definition, the cessation of all suffering. Yet people at meetings that are about enlightenment, their way they're entertaining enlightenment is causing suffering. I'm not enlightened yet, and that fucker's enlightened? I do not believe he. I've been at more meetings than he's been. I've been at way more meetings, and I even got fucking what's his name to sign my book. No, he can't be enlightened before. See? This is what happens. Awakeness has driven people fucking crazy. And I know the people who shared about their awakening supposedly didn't know they were doing any harm, but look, you know, some person says, oh, it was November 11th on a rainy day, and I went to Walmart, and I was looking for an appliance, a toaster, and a toaster fell off the 4th shelf and hit me in the head, and I woke up. Now people are going to Walmart on a rainy day, going to the appliance and hope hey, push it up, get it. Oh, it's happened, I've woken up. And that idea that something happened to cause the awakening has exiled a lot of people to the possibility of being inherently awake. They now think it has to happen to them to be awake. The awakeness now believes something has to happen for it to be awake. Actually, for itself to give permission to be awake. It already is awake. See it. That's so or not. Watch. You hear the greatest news of all, and it's turned into a fucking curse. You know what I mean? Now I have to meditate every day to be okay. When you were a kid, were you meditating?
Nope.
Well, you were actually, but you didn't know.
No, you were in meditation.
But now it's like, all right, I'm a meditator, and then you miss the meditation in the morning, and then the interpretation, the fucking day sucks. I gotta go home at 12. Sit down for that hour. Is that working? It's now enslaving you. Yeah.
But
Yes.
like, I do like some sort of like, you know, yoga and stuff like that, but yeah, but it actually like helps me like, you know, be calm.
Yeah, it's great. I would do it. I did stretching today. I didn't, but the body did for sure. The body needs its break. It's under a lot of stress here,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Wait till you get older. Fuck. Joint movement will be. You'll hurt yourself without doing anything. You wake up and you've hurt yourself during the night. How did that happen? Fuck. Jesus Christ. This thing is so, man, yeah. Feeling limber is nice, isn't it? For sure. I love it. I do breathing exercises. It's good. Breath's powerful. None of that's excluded, but you're not doing it for. See, the doing isn't it. It's the doing being used to imply the doer. You don't have to stop doing because you're an action figure. You're going to do, just catch the thief. See the doing and see it just as that doing. And watch the little tail that's always sewn on it, which is I'm the doer. Just say, hey, I'm not accepting that fucking tail. It's like the old wag the dog, the tail wags the dog. That's what happens. Something works, fucking do it. Yeah. I read this every once in a while because I can't be inspired to talk 4 hours in a day. I think, you know, a half hour is good. Really. I mean, it's like fucking beating a dead horse. So I got, all right, let me see. This always works. Oh, because I actually think this is a download from some other place. I do. And it's that language makes more sense to me than most things most people say. Because it knows exactly where to spend the money. It's in describing what we're not. Yeah. So that what we are can recognize it. Jesus Christ, something has produced an appearance before me, and for it to be the Alpha and the Omega, it has to seemingly forget what I am. It can't include both. Yeah. Which the what I am includes both. What I am is totally inclusive of what we're not, but what we're not cannot include what we are, because it would negate what we're not. Not intentionally, it just would. So it's totally, totally, totally afraid of letting what you are dawn on you, because it would negate the story of what you're not. But what you are is totally okay with the dream of being all this. It fucking finds no conflict at all. It's only the dreamt finds conflict. You think it should be better. That's it, eh? Yes. Yeah, yes, yes. Oh, you're squeezing one more.